It's weird, those moments where, like, the whole world kind of stops for a second. Like, I was just scrolling through my feed the other day, and bam, Rafael Nadal retiring.
Yeah,
And it's like, even when you kind of know it's coming, it still hits you out of nowhere.
for sure.
So today, we're diving deep into Nadal's retirement announcement. And it's not just about the news itself, right? It's what it tells us about his incredible career and what he's built on and off the court.
Yeah, and I think we have a really cool way to look at it this time because we have this YouTube video that goes way beyond just like the basic news headlines. You really get a feel for how everyone's feeling.
It's emotional.
Yeah,
Okay, let's break it down.
yeah,
So it starts off strong, reminding us just how good Nadal was, right? I mean, 22 Grand Slam titles, that's just insane.
yeah.
But then they focus on the French Open, 14 wins. It's unbelievable.
It really is.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about Nadal, right? He's not just winning. He's dominating on a surface that chews people up and spits them out. The French Open is brutal. It's just so grueling and demanding. Clay courts, I mean, every point is a battle.
Yeah.
You have to have insane stamina and mental toughness.
Oh, totally.
So when they call him the King of Clay, it's not just a fancy nickname. It really speaks to his almost superhuman resilience.
It's like he climbed Mount Everest 14 times.
Mm.
And the video really makes you feel the weight of his farewell. They show Nadal at the press conference and they use subtitles, which is smart because you hear the emotion in his voice, but you don't miss a word.
And it's interesting because what really comes through is just how grateful he is. I mean, this is Rafael Nadal at the top of his game, thanking everyone, his fans, his family, the whole team.
Yeah.
And he could easily just be focused on all the trophies and records.
Yeah.
Which, don't get me wrong, the video definitely highlights those.
Of course.
But you see this humility, this sense that he knows he didn't do it all alone.
Which says a lot about him, right? And this idea that it was never just about winning comes up again when the video shifts gears to talk about his work with the Rafa Nadal Foundation.
Oh, yeah. And this is where his legacy extends way beyond the court. I mean, for more than a decade, his foundation has been dedicated to giving kids and young people opportunities, especially those who need it most.
Wow.
They use sport as a way to empower and include with programs in Spain and India.
That's incredible. So often you see athletes kind of lending their names to charities, but this seems different. It seems more like he's really invested in what makes Nadal's philanthropy stand out.
You're right. It's not just a PR stunt. He's been committed to this foundation throughout his whole career, even when he was at the top of his game, juggling training and tournaments.
Yeah.
It's just a much deeper personal drive to give back and use his influence to do good. And honestly, it points to a larger trend I'm seeing with top athletes, this realization that they have a responsibility to do more than just their sport.
Definitely. And speaking of influence, the video shows reactions from other tennis legends, even rivals like Federer and Djokovic. And these aren't your typical good game comments. There's real respect there. You can feel it.
And that's the difference. These guys are titans of the sport. They've battled Nadal for years, pushing each other to the limit.
Yeah.
The fact they're all praising him speaks volumes about Nadal's impact on the tennis world as a whole.
It really makes you realize that this isn't just the end of a career. It's like the end of an era in tennis. But it does make you wonder what's next for someone who's accomplished so much so young. The video gives us glimpses, family time, new adventures. There's even footage of him with his kids.
Yeah, and that's where it gets really interesting because it seems like he's hinting at a more family-focused chapter now.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that's common for athletes at that level? And how do you think it might shape how people remember him?
It's like he climbed one mountain and now he's looking at a whole different peak.
Exactly. It really is a fascinating question. For someone like Nadal, who's been so driven, always pushing his limits, to go from that to a life where family comes first, that's a huge change.
Yeah.
And it makes you think, how will that change how he's remembered? Will it be all about the trophies, or will this new chapter show us different sides of him?
It's like he's already conquered one mountain and now he's setting his sights on a totally different peak.
Exactly. And we see that a lot with these top athletes, right? They spend their whole lives trying to be the best at their sport.
Yeah.
But then what? When they step off that podium, what's next? For some of them, it's about finding new ways to compete new challenges.
Yeah, like I could definitely see Nadal being drawn back to tennis in some way, coaching maybe, or mentoring young players.
Oh, for sure. He's talked about how much he loves the sport.
Yeah.
And you can tell he wants to share that knowledge and experience. Plus, let's be real. Who wouldn't want to be coached by the King of Clay himself?
Talk about an amazing mentor. But there's also a part of me that wonders if he'll need a break from the pro circuit, at least for a while. That level of intensity, the pressure to perform all the time, it takes a toll.
It does. The life of a professional athlete, especially someone like Nadal,
Yeah.
it's incredibly demanding.
Yeah.
It takes insane dedication, discipline, sacrifice.
Hmm.
And it's not just physical. It's the mental toughness it takes to compete at that level year after year. So yeah, it wouldn't be surprising if he wants to step back, recharge, rediscover what brings him joy outside of tennis. And we do see glimpses of that in the video, right? Time with family, enjoying life away from the spotlight.
It's easy to forget that even these huge sports stars have lives outside of what we see on TV, and it's nice to see that human side of Nadal.
It is. And it made me think about this idea, these retirement announcements, they're not just about ending a career, they're about transitions. Trying new things, figuring out what success means, and who you are outside of the identity you've built for so long.
It's like finishing a chapter in a book, but you don't know what the next one holds. Could be scary, but also exciting. And with Nadal, I have a feeling that whatever he chooses to do, he'll do it with that same passion, dedication, and humility that we saw on the tennis court.
Totally. I agree.
Yeah.
And that says a lot about him. We always hear about athletes leaving it all on the field or the court,
Yeah.
but Nadal seems to embody that in everything he does.
Yeah. And speaking of leaving it all out there, I love how the video ends. It's not just a goodbye. It's a celebration of everything he's done. All the incredible moments, those unforgettable shots, the pure athleticism. It really makes you think about what makes a true sports icon, doesn't it? It really is more than just the trophies, right? Like when I watch those highlights, it's not just how good he was, it's the fight, the way he handled pressure, the sportsmanship.
Yeah, you're right. It's about the whole package. When we talk about legacy, it's the impact you have on your sport. Nadal's 22 Grand Slams are amazing, but it's how he got there that really makes him special.
Yeah.
That drive, the way he treated his opponents, even when things were intense, that stuff matters. Goes beyond tennis.
He changed what it means to be a champion. And it made me think about those tributes from Federer and Djokovic. Those guys were his biggest rivals.
Yeah.
They wanted to win just as badly as he did.
Yeah.
But you could tell their respect wasn't just about the wins, it was about who Nadal was as a person, on and off the court.
And that is a powerful legacy because
Yeah.
it's not just about inspiring the next generation of tennis players. It's about everyone. It's about showing the world that true greatness isn't just about talent or ambition. It's about character and resilience and dedication.
It's a lesson we can all learn from. And it makes this bigger than just sports, right? It's about these universal qualities that we all look up to and try to live by. It's about understanding that even legends have these whole other chapters in their lives beyond what we see.
For sure. This whole deep dive into Nadal's retirement, it wasn't just about the news. It was about asking those bigger questions. What makes someone a legend? What does success really mean? And how do we handle those big changes in our own lives, whether it's retiring or starting something new?
So much to think about. And that's what's so great about these deep dives. We started with Rafael Nadal retiring, and here we are talking about legacy and character and what it means to really go after something in life.
And I hope that our listeners walk away with a new appreciation for Nadal's career, but also for the lessons we can all take from it, on or off the court.
I love that. Well said. So as we wrap things up, I'm left thinking, what's your definition of legacy? What do you want to leave behind? It's a big question, but maybe Nadal's story can inspire us all to push a little harder, to fight a little harder, and to face whatever comes our way with that same grace and determination that he brought to tennis. Thanks for joining us for another deep dive.